We can't hear you.
Did I mute myself again? Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this. What the heck? We're starting off
Oh, we're
really
starting
good.
on a funny note. That's
We're
good.
starting on a funny note.
You
Here.
can always count on Dr. Bob for some humor here.
What program am I on this, guys? Like
Okay.
I have a feeling that Bob did it intentionally because it is a lifetime mindset. You got to kick off
Yes.
laughing. All right, that's the way to do it. That's it. Why
So-
be serious?
So the most powerful part of wisdom is laughter, isn't it? Okay. I'm gonna get started here. So let me get started. I want to welcome everybody to Wisdom Cafe Live, and I think my name is Bob Choat. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Bob Choat, known as the Transformational Grandmaster, I think, and my beautiful co-host is Dr. Sofie Nubani, the Queen of Laughter and Wisdom. Sofie, this is a great start. I love the laughter part.
See.
We can always count on you for something.
That's premeditated, is he? That's
You
premeditated.
just had the little
Bob, get out of here, Bob.
laughter exercises. We can all use some for our day, right?
Yes.
And go wrong with that.
Oh gosh, Bob. Okay. So now that we got this going and we got this energy and everything, we're gonna bring in our guest. So Johnny Tan, because this is to meet the author. He's the author of My Mama's Kitchen and
Mama's the luminary, Johnny
the
Tan.
luminary Johnny Tan. So he's an experiential life coach and mentor, and he helps people to design their life. I mean, he has a passion in that, and really rise into to get into, I believe, what he calls the genius zone, which is pretty powerful. And again, helping people to reach that higher self. He's passionate about working with not only women to bring about, also entrepreneurs and people along those lines. He has his own show, by the way, by the same name as his book, and helping so many people. His whole methodology stems around from his own background. He's going to be talking about that, and me and Sophie, we already know about it. It's pretty amazing, and again, me and Johnny were also brothers in the martial arts, which is pretty cool. Love that. And he has this whole transition through his life. It's just awesome. And Johnny, you're going to really wow our audience today, based on the experiences you have. And in addition, your passion for really helping your market, your people. And I know that you have a lot of projects going on as well that you can be bringing out. But we want to learn more about you. But first of all, we want to welcome you here to Wisdom Cafe Live, and we want to thank you for being here.
Well, thank
Yes,
you very much. Thank you.
absolutely. And a very special and warm welcome from myself to the luminary, Johnny Tan. I loved your book, and truly it has a lot of pearls of wisdom and recipes for life that can assist many through their journey. And what's so cool about it is that it's good for any time and space direction. So whether I read it a year ago and now, there's always something that you can pick from it that can apply to someone's life, from true mama's advices. And we all had to come somehow from that element and energy, so we can relate to that wisdom and true depth. And watching just in 1 year ago, I remember we had you on a show.
Yes.
And I was following a lot of things that you're doing. And I was like, wait a minute. I mean, all of this is happening already in such a short period of time. And what's so amazing, and this is for all the listeners too, is that once we go through challenging times, like we are now globally, what's so fascinating to me is when I watch a lot of my peers and friends and brothers and sisters truly dedicated to serving a bigger calling, to contributing, to be part of a solution that can bring more harmony and joy to our daily living by dedicating the time and effort and genuine networking so that we can all be of that support and help to one another to help the masses even more. And you have been doing that, Johnny. I've been witnessing a lot of transitions in progress, and they are just so beautiful. And I just am so happy and delighted that we were able to have you on our show, because I do see how busy you are, and I'm so blessed that we were able to dedicate this hour for us and our audience and members so they can also learn, so they have the opportunity to grow, to get empowered, to be able to use a lot of your advice and your suggestions. And and that's going to be really cool. So thank you so much and welcome to Wisdom Cafe
Oh,
Live.
thank you so much for the welcome, Sophie. I tell you what, I mean, Bob, I hate to say this, she just got 10 and you're about 5, so.
So no matter what Sophie does, Sophie's always going to be a 10. So
That's right.
it,
That's
Oh,
right. You're right. That's why I try to dress nice. I'm just speaking to a 10 right here, so I got to make sure I
oh.
dress nice.
Bless
But
it.
anyway, to give a quick rundown about myself, I came to the United States when I was 18 years old. 4 months after my 18th birthday, I landed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to go to college at LSU, and no one knows. I didn't expect it, but a year later, my dad passed away, and that's changed the trajectory of my life because we all have a certain set of plans, so to speak, for life, and then all of a sudden things happen, pivotal moments in life happen, so you have to readjust, regroup, and refocus, and go on from there. From that point onwards, like, what the heck just happened here? And so I've had to make decisions at a very young age to make sure that I'm able to contribute to my family. We're a small family back home in Malacca, Malaysia. My mom, my sister at that time. That's it, and me. And events took me to situations whereby I did not actually go home till 15 years later, and my
Mm.
mom did not actually come to visit me till 8 years later. But during that course of time, I was able to meet wonderful women who are moms, basically, and 8 of them during the course of my life, who slowly but surely end up being my surrogate mom. They have this natural nurturing instincts to come in and say, hey, whenever you need to talk, come see me. Be glad to be there for you. I understand that your mom's not here. And whole and behold, that's how I end up with having 9 moms in my lives.
Lucky.
And so when I talk, people say, oh, wait a minute, are you a problem child? Somewhat. But the key to it also, the beauty of it is that, Bob and Sophie, as you know, you are not able to receive love unless you allow it to flow to you.
True.
And that's the most important thing.
yeah.
So it's not about them as it is about you. Are you willing to receive? And so I was ever ready, always at all times, to receive the love. And so whole and behold, they became my teachers, my coaches, and my counselors. And fast forward several years, my Malaysian mom ended up meeting all the other wonderful ladies. Was so thankful for them being in my life, being there on behalf of her, making sure her son is doing okay, and so forth. And that's how everything happened. So I ended up writing a book honoring my 9 moms for their wisdom, things that mom tells us that we don't want to hear. And some
Yes.
years later, it's like, doggone it, she's right. So it's about motherly wisdom, the power of unconditional love. The concept of personal success begins at home, and home not necessarily just the building home itself, but home as within us, because we have the power to generate whatever we want out there. We create our own home within us, and that's what it's all about. So going forward, that sort of changed my trajectory, the trajectory of my life, from being a successful chief operating officer at 33 years old. I end up leaving that position 7 years later to start my own business, wanting to, kind of explore and do something else. And I did for a while. I was selling architectural antiques from Borneo and so forth. And that's during that time is when I wrote my book. And then again, I'm one of those guys, like I mentioned to people, like I twirl all those plates, when you go to see a circus, the guy that twirls about 10 plates and then trying to run around and trying to make sure everything is still going. And then I realized that without really doing anything, the book came out with endorsement of the National Association of Mother Centers. Like, you won't believe this, Bob. Everybody likes men talking good about their mom. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
and and, uh, and so the book ended up winning 5 awards, and then a year later it hit the bestseller list in 3 different categories on Amazon. And so that sort of changed the trajectory of my life. Like, it's like, okay, all of a sudden I'm out there talking about motherly love, and it's like, okay, this is interesting. If I think about myself, am I a mama's boy? Heck no.
Okay.
And then you write a book about moms, So, but the underlying factor is about unconditional love, the power of relationship, the nature of love, and the meaning of life, and how all this gel together. So, fast forward again, I find myself in a situation where now I've experienced ups and downs in life, the good, bad, and ugly, so to speak. And then I realized that it's my natural innate talent and ability ever since I was a child to be in the leadership capacity, to always take the lead, to console someone who is not feeling well, to stand up for what's right, and also somehow have this sort of an idea that, let's create something. I'm always been solution oriented. Now, if you ask me, when I was even, God forbid, at 25, what solution oriented is, what are you talking about? But the actions in itself is actually solution oriented. Rather than dwelling over the happenings, you're focused on how can we get back on the horse, rather than figuring out why we got off the horse in the first place. That's not the point. It's done. It's over with. And so as we get older in life, we find that, and especially for myself, I find that, all my values, my goals, the things that I value most, our personal character and so forth, it gets refined over the years.
True.
And so now that puts me in a position where I put myself out there as an experiential life coach and mentor. And believe it or not, sometimes I wonder, like, what the heck did I have to experience this for? And then when I look back, hold and behold, in a situation that just happened, I was there being able to share from the heart to a person. A case in point would be last year. I had the opportunity to speak at they call it now twins, because it's not teen, it's just before teens, it's pre-teens. They call it twins. And so they have there was a school I was invited by my neighbor to help her out to speak to these kids that were about to roll out their campaign, and they were trying to set up a lemonade stand. So I said, so there are about 50, 60 of them. So I went out there to speak to the class, to talk to them about dream larger, achieve greater, become spectacular, and how 1+1, my concept of the dream larger, achieve greater, become spectacular is 1+1 = 3, because lemon is a 1, water is a 1. As long as you keep them separate, it's a 2. But when you combine them, it's about creating something new. It became a 3. So I really loved it and so forth. Then what happened was there was a little boy, and even though they're not very close to me because I have sort of like a stage to speak about, but he was sort of like right across, right in front of me. And during the Q&A, he ended up when his turn comes, he said, "I have a question," and I said, "Okay, yeah, go ahead." And says, and this is how he looks like. He was like really concerned. He was like, I I uh, I want to ask you something. I'm about to be adopted, and I don't know. I'm just afraid. I don't know what to expect, um, and I just wanted your opinion. And you're talking about the vice principal, all the teachers, all the others was like, oh, that's why we don't have Q&A, right? I mean, what's it got to do with lemonade and this entrepreneurship kind of thing and so forth? And I said, I'm so glad you asked the question. To be honest with you, I am adopted. I was adopted at birth. So I went into the whole process. I said, first and foremost, be assured your adopted parents going to be as afraid as you are right now and nervous as you are right now. The other most important thing is that I can tell you for sure they love you and that's why they want to adopt you.
Mm.
What you're doing right now is beautiful, it's perfect. When you meet them, when you sit down and talk, speak from the heart. And together, you guys will be able to form whatever you need to form. And then I went on into, telling them about how I found out that I was adopted from my sister because I was, picking on her. And then she says, you're different from the family. And the reason is because you're adopted. Yeah, that's how I found out. So, so everybody started laughing. But in the end, to me personally, that moment was not about, like I'm sent there by my guides, not to talk about, even though I was invited to speak about 1+1 = 3, tweenpreneurship. But the best thing that ever happened was right there, that moment. I was sent there for a reason to speak to that little boy.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
how I view life, Bob, Sophie. That's how I view it. And that's why the concept of from my side of the equation, being an experiential uh, life coach and mentor, it's important to me because I feel like all of a sudden right now, okay, I see now why I am experiencing all this, the good, bad, and ugly. Take notes, even though it's ugly, take notes because it's introspection. What did I learn from this? Where do I want to go from here, or to help someone else where they need to go from there? You
Mhm.
see, and how to go from there? How do we get there, so to speak? And so, in a nutshell, that's what the concept is all about.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's beautiful.
It is. That is. I know that we all go through that, but there's a lot of people that don't stop and reflect on the experiences that they have. They go into a robotic manner, and I'm sure you've seen that as well.
Mhm, mhm.
And even the people that you coach, what do you do with those people, including people that may even be older than you? How do you get them to move past that and look at the experiences they had, including the ups and the downs, and the learnings that will come with that? What do you do?
Great question, Bob. I use the concept of in the in the process of what I've learned over the
You're
years.
echoing, Johnny. 1 second. Let's make sure.
Okay. There's also a little click going on. I don't know whether you all hear that. Yeah, I wonder. I hope it's not from my end. uh, but anyway, so what happens is that what I have learned over the years is that we have 4 cornerstones of life that we all need to be focused on. We're not aware. Once you get to that certain amount of level of consciousness, then you realize that these 4 cornerstones is what actually gets you to the genius zone. And when I talk about genius zone right here, we're not talking about some genius that creates stuff. And quite possibly you are who you are. You can create stuff. But my point is that we are always creating, so you are, by definition, a genius. But what we talk about, the four cornerstone of life here is number one is truly understanding yourself. And when you address the fact that, how do I, a young guy trying to tell a person who is older than I am, how do we look at this? First and foremost, in anything that I do, in my keynote speeches, in my workshops, and even in my life coaching clients, with my life coaching clients, I tell them right up front, I said, look, let's get one thing straight. 60% of what the things that we're going to be discussing, what I'm going to tell you, you already know. 40% left. And believe it or not, 50% of the 40%, you may have heard about it and you actually Google it. So, it's out there. My job is just to share with you the last 20%. That's brand new. And guess what? That is what's the pivotal thing that's going to get the equilibrium straight.
Mm-hmm.
So I set their mindset of things like that. So they understand that the things that they already know, it validates. Not from some books they read, not from some show they saw, real life, real situation, because I see you went through it yourself. So it's a validation because people want to be validated for what they already know. So having said that, so the first cornerstone of life is about self-awareness. And within that, we have this concept of we
Bob,
all
are you
live.
muted, Bob? Okay, so it could be from your end. Okay, Johnny, go ahead.
Okay. So the so you see it's building.
We have entertainment. You see, you don't only teach dancing with physical body, we're dancing with our words too.
There you go. There you go. So
So we
so
can tap into our genius zone faster.
so the concept of self-awareness is very, very interesting because we live three separate lives. Me, myself, and I. Me is what we want the public to see us. It's basically, 50% of us. For in some ways it's a facade, and in some ways it's not, because this is what we want people to know of us. Myself is the true us. Our weaknesses, our anxiety, our fears, our doubts, things that even our closest friends and actually maybe spouse and partners don't even know because we kept it so close, okay? And then I is a combination of me and myself together. That's the authentic you. That when you bring those two together, that's what you get. Now, those fears with the myself, anything that you feel in that category is actually an asset. It's not a liability, because that's what grounded you. Life is about balance. You can't go this way too much or that way. And it's about the integration of that balance to give you that authenticity. And I know Sophie likes this particular word that I use, authentic integrity. And authentic integrity is nothing more than, like, authenticity is the big word. Everybody says, oh, hey, I'm authentic and all this. But, authentic integrity is where you inject those values in that you've learned or you have learned to embrace to your very being. And that's important because without that authentic integrity, you have no principles of what you're trying to get done and so forth that really governs you as a person. So that's the first step. The second step is the self understanding. And self understanding is very interesting. Why am I here? And so, actually, self understanding is the what lessons that I need to learn. Basically, the first one, self awareness, is why am I here? Me,
Yeah.
myself, and I. And self understanding is what lessons have I learned? And in the end, when you look at that self understanding, the three major fundamental desires of all humans: happiness, blessings, and abundance. You can talk to a child or as old enough when they get to a certain, even pets, what makes them happy? When they get the bone or they get the food that they want to eat or whatever, right? So happiness, blessings, and abundance. And so you talk about human beings. So these are the three major fundamentals that desires that bring everyone together, young, old, religious, regardless of whatever religious affiliation you are with. That's the concept. That's the bridge that get us to have a wonderful conversation. Because if I'm here to contribute to your happiness, guess what? You, in return that favor. If I'm a blessing in your life, I'm sure you will be a blessing in my life. And then, of course, living in abundance is more about, like what's the definition of abundance for everybody. Some people want to have a 747 sitting, in the garage. Some people say, hey, look, I'm cool. I don't know anybody. My family is great. That's it. And so if you help them to achieve that, they're happy as heck.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. So those are the lessons learned from the standpoint of why we go through this life and how people are learning and how they are embracing their principle of life, so to speak. And then the third cornerstone of life is self-acceptance. And this is a critical part about it is that, where do I want to go from here? These are the pivotal moments, like what I encountered myself at 19 when my dad died, and I'm stuck halfway around the world having to sell plasma twice a week to go to college, sell plasma, actually not to go to college, sell plasma twice a week to pay for food. And, it's like, there's something wrong with this picture right here. I think that, like, this is crazy. But you have to ask yourself, where do I go from here? And it's during those pivotal moments in time that you look back in life, and that's where faith comes in. Faith is history. It's not the future. Faith is history because faith is the things that you have done before that you realize that when you were there and you did it, it propelled you forward. So faith comforts. It gives you that comforting feeling. Hope is what inspires you to move forward. It's a blank new piece of paper. And then, of course, love is the energy, that helps you to empower you. Whenever you talk about love, it's about the other person. It's never about you. We're governed by two separate equal forces, love or fear. Love is about the other person, fear is always about us. And I know you all have encountered this before. Like, don't jump, don't do this, don't do that. Do you think that person really cares? No, he's not fearful or she's not fearful. We are the one that's fearing for them, not them, right? Now, if we look through the lens of love, say, before you jump, let me get down there just in case you miss the mat. Mat love, so you
Well,
hit.
we can definitely have a lot of good feedback from Dr. Bob because he had encountered such things on his parkour moves. Parkour moves.
So it's kind of interesting,
Think,
and part of
yeah.
the whole idea. And then during this, the number, the third cornerstone of life. Also, this is where what's interesting is that once you go through the process, you start to have clarity. Clarity is having clear vision of what is, what was, and what will be. You see, that's clarity. From clarity, that gives you the courage. Remember, faith comforts, hope inspires. Hope is courage to go ahead and act.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence is the action of the courage. And confidence is something that they always say, oh, you're building your confidence. Yeah, because as you keep on acting, right, it it helps to nurture confidence. But the
Sure.
key is the courage, is the acting part. Act and make it happen. And then finally, the fourth cornerstone of life is dream larger, achieve greater, and become spectacular. And from that perspective is, the 1+1 = 3 concept, because if you look at it very carefully, it's all about collaboration, co-creation, and building something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. And then that's the and then how do you achieve that? Again, always remind yourself, passion is what the heart creates. and the mind formulates. Now, it doesn't mean that, well, I need, respectfully, this is just an example. It's like the old, joke about, does it need all four of us to screw in a light bulb? That's not what I meant. And maybe it did, because one needs to hold the leather, the other one gives the bulb, and the third one goes up there. You never know, right? But the concept is, I'm the guy. I created this wonderful, widget. I have no idea how to sell it. Well, guess what? I got to talk to some guy who, I don't care about how you make it, but I know how to get that to 1 million people.
Yes. Yes.
Well, guess what? That's co-creation.
Yes.
From beginning to the end. And sometimes people don't understand that. And finally, becoming spectacular is all about living a legacy of love, building a better world. Because in the end, we're all in this together. Like the president of France said in his speech at the United Nations, there's no planet B. And so this is where we're at. And so it's up to us to how we bring all this together. And that comes back full force from my mama's kitchen. Because what you find is that from my mama's kitchen, moms, that unconditional love is not about them. It's about their kids, it's about the little babies they see. It's about the little kids, like they're there to nurture. They can see the future, the potential. You see? That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom has a plan for you long before you even learn how to speak. I can assure you that. She has a folder right there. Hey, this is what you're going to do. So that's the difference.
Yeah, Johnny, let me
Mm-hmm.
ask you something, and this piggybacks on some of the things you already talked about, including genius, including passion, and I
Yeah.
want to add purpose. But you also brought in the concept of others coming in. So you may create something, but then you have another person that is able to market and sell it, and you have another person that can do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that if you were to do everything alone, even if you were what is known as the genius,
Mm-hmm.
versus having all these other people to be part of that, do you think that the individual genius is less or more powerful, or is it the genius of everybody coming together more powerful?
It's the genius of everyone coming together. Harmony at work is when you allow the genius in you to draw out the genius in everybody else. That's what it's all about. That's collaboration, teamwork. The genius in you that draws out the genius in others to co-create. That's what it's all about. And you can see that everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you have someone who is just the money man. Hey guys, I don't have, I don't need to know all that. Just make sure that, whatever I gave you, I get 20% return. I'm good for it. I mean, that's the way they look at it, right? So everybody plays their part.
True.
It's interesting that, in the course, I told y'all one time I was selling architectural antiques, and all of these came from some parts of India. But then, if you recall history, when Alexander the Great conquered Asia Minor and all that, so all those, they were, the they were building, they were building castles and so forth with the Roman columns and everything else. And what happened was, when they decided to tear down all these buildings, you got the people that come in literally like ants. I take this, you take that, you take this, you take that. And then you got a person who is a real estate mogul. Yeah, clear everything up. Okay. I just want a piece of land.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. To me, all those are garbage. Just get rid of it. And that's the interesting concept of that co-creation.
Yeah. I am so glad that you brought all that in, because I think a lot of people have a false sense of the single entrepreneur, the single person
Mhm.
that is the success. But the truth is, it's it's everybody around them that they work with. And it could be somebody that started something that
Mhm.
had an idea that maybe this entrepreneur was able to get it, but there's still always other people that's part of that. Like you said, the collaboration is
Yeah,
where the true genius and the true success. In fact, I have a personal belief there's no such thing as a self-made millionaire.
that's correct.
There's, yeah,
I
there's a
agree. Well, if
collaboration.
nobody buy your product, you're not going to be you're not going to be making anything. You just have that light bulb sitting right there with you. That's it. Nothing else happened. So I completely agree with that. So I think that's what the beauty of it, because if you think about the concept of how we develop and build things around us, and we don't realize this is where the consciousness comes in, because part of the understanding is to have that consciousness understanding to whereby, hey, you do need to collaborate, you need to build together, and that is far more important right now during this decade. Interestingly enough, this decade is the decade of resilience. If there's one thing that we need to tag it, I know, we may even have the vaccine by the end of this year, as a lot of people say, may or may not, but presumably if we do, it'll take at least 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years to recover fully worldwide. It's a chain reaction. We may recover, like say, because of our greatness and the monies that we have in the United States, we recover next year. But guess what? Everybody else will take time. So before you know it, whether you like it or not, this is a decade of resiliency.
Mhm.
And so that makes a big difference. How many people realize that? They don't. And where does Johnny fit in all this? I have no earthly idea until I realized that, you know what? It came full circle. It's like, that's what happened to me. What the heck happened? I came to the United States with high hopes, with doing this. Hey, man, I am here to do things, right? And then all of a sudden, like, situation happens. How do you handle yourself? It's not a pandemic, but it's a personal pandemic because it's like, oh my God, what the heck happened here? And so the feeling, the connection inside, the uncertainty, the doubts, the fear is the same. So how do we pivot away from that? How do we comfort ourselves? But believe it or not, in the midst of all that, I was able to still find joy in my life. Now I may not recognize it, at that moment in time, but there were moments, snippets where just for that 1 hour, I found peace.
Mhm.
And I wish I can expand that hour more and more to
Mhm.
build on it. And somehow, somewhere, that became into a concept that you can find joy in everything that you do. My Cajun mom is really famous for that because she would hear me out. Oh, I'm so, I'm going through this and this and this. And she'll come and say, and the good news is, like, wow, good news. Are you listening to me? Did I tell you that I'm having all this thing right here? It's like, maybe you didn't hear me carefully. It's no good news.
Wow.
But she looks at it, no, the good news is you got it all out. Because in the process of doing that, you actually detail step by step, like we talk about self acceptance. Where do we go from here? Okay. So the next question is, where do you want to go from here?
Yeah.
And
So
then,
what is your plan for the next decade, Johnny? On that note.
thank you. Thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate that. So my vision and mission is now to take from my Mama's Kitchen platform to nationally and globally. And the focus is to talk about resiliency, the power of resiliency, and teaching and mentoring people how to use the power of resiliency to succeed, to find joy in everything that they do.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And and this is based on my own personal life, not something that I read so and so wrote or whatever, because people want real life, real situation, real connection. They want to hear that. from a person that's experienced it all. And now, not a day goes by. It's funny that I look back, like I'm so thankful I experienced all the little stupid things. Like, why? What happened? Why did it happen to me? Because you know why? Now I can talk about that. And people know that I'm not, I didn't watch a movie.
There's a lot of echo, and I just want to repeat what you said because for some reason I want to make sure
Yeah.
that your message is clear.
Yeah.
So from your My Mama's Kitchen, you are planning to take that nationally and globally, and
Yes.
that you are wanting to be able to teach and mentor through the power of resilience, which is very needed at this time, and especially with what we're facing, so that people can find joy back and harmony into their lives. So,
That's
how are you going to do that?
okay. Thank you very much for asking the question. That's a wonderful question. If I may, before I answer that question,
Yeah, Sophie, do you have a headset or something?
Okay, just go ahead, and I'll see what's going on. I've been muted, and it still does the same, Bob. So I don't know.
no, we don't hear anything, do we? I guess.
You are muted, Bob.
Oh, no. Sophie, mute yourself now.
All right.
So both of y'all muted. I'm like,
Go for it, Johnny. Go for it. Go ahead and explain.
so anyway, what I wanted to before I go into like how I'm going to go about doing it. This is, remember we talked about the full cycle, and comes back to the concept of why I wrote the book and so forth. One of the things that my Malaysian mom told me before I left home, in every one of us, there's a seed of greatness. This seed is responsible for our success. The genius in us helps us to dream, desire, and create our goals. And the talent in us help to achieve it. Now, God forbid this is like years ago, right? Well, guess what? We're coming to the same full circle, this new normal. That's what we need to get done, amazingly enough. It's a totally, it's like history repeats itself. Different scenario, but situations the same. And believe it or not, some of the solutions are the same. So going forward and how I want to achieve this is through the power of words. Words have power. And so I've set up a concept of storefront that I use all my inspirational quotes that I got from my mom and also for my upcoming book, interestingly enough, that I was able to put together a collection of merchandise from clothing for men, women, kids, bags, uh, cell phone covers, and so forth, and inspirational signs, wall decor. And they're all available on my website because to help people, because we need to inspire ourselves first. When we wear something that says, regardless of where you are in life, always lean towards heaven, it did something to you right here because it gives you that comfort of understanding, hey, I need a reminder. Or a simple one that says, smiling sows happiness. Believe it or not, smiling does sow happiness. We're responsible for our own happiness. And the other day I was on a show and it was very interesting. And I spoke to a host that is a Muslim from a Muslim country. And I told her, I said, the most interesting thing that people don't realize, even in the European, we're in the Western world here, if you think about it very carefully, Bob, Sophie, now that we have to wear masks, right? You know what? We smile with our eyes. Because they always say, eyes is the window to someone's soul. So there's some truth to somebody wearing the burqa and all. The only thing you can see, right? Because you can see right through. Be angry with your heart, and it's very difficult to do. But you can certainly smile with your eyes. There's a certain look to it. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's nice. It's,
In fact, if a lot of people, I know there's a lot of Americans that watch K dramas from South Korea, and they've been wearing masks since 2009, and it's a fashion statement.
right.
So maybe we need to have a shift in the culture and wear masks as a fashion statement or something. I don't know. Maybe, in fact, maybe you can create a mask that has some words or something on it. You know.
I'm exploring that right now because I'm dealing with Teesprings and they came up with some new concepts and so forth. But the merchandise that I have right now is actually like hoodies, T-shirts, women's clothing, kids, and like I say, wall decors, coffee mugs, and everything.
I ordered 3 things from your website, and I was hoping to have had them today because I would have loved to demonstrate them. Really cool. I mean, I do definitely relate to the feeling of words empowering the emotion and the mindset because it's almost like a walking affirmation, but not only now that you are connected with it, but also the person reading it. So it's almost like an act of kindness to humanity because it's not only the person enjoying that positive energy and words and their vibration, because we understand even water changes its chemistry with the power of words, and that was tested. And so imagine when we are doing that and we are affirming positive words or sentences to our day or to our mood, but now we're walking with it and somebody else is reading it. Now they're giving also a positive energy back. And so it's such a beautiful contribution. And I was really hoping that I got it like I was, I was crossing my fingers, but it just didn't. But when I do, I will let you know. I'll take pictures.
Well, first and foremost, I do want to thank you for buying, the product because they're really wonderful products. They're very high end in the sense. When I say high end here, they're quality products, and you can find them at Joyful Living 360/store. And so you can see the entire collection there. And then, of course, it'll take you to Teesprings to order the various pieces and so forth. But these are very simple things. These are quotes that I got from mom.
There on the site that it has like so many collections with different colors, and then each different quote has a different collection, whether it's a mug, it's a shirt, it's a hoodie, it's a bag, and each one of those come in several different colors. So it gives you like a variety of choices and also different seasons that you might need it for. And but I really like it. They're great also for gifts. That's awesome because it represents more than just what I might need or be reminded of, but somebody else who's more down on a regular basis, they might need to be reminded of smiling more than someone like I'm always smiling, for example, but somebody else needs that reminder.
Right.
And it also helps them because if somebody's reading it on them, they're reading it like, and now it's going to be easier for them to exchange smiles. So that's good.
Well, Sofie, you hit something very important. I'm sure, Bob, you heard of this. Years ago, people talk about, how we wear our armor. What are we wearing? Do we wear our smile? Do we wear our anger? Do we wear, our fear? So guess what? This are the clothing, the materials that you put on yourself, T-shirts, whatever you want, hoodie, and the kids themselves. And these are the ones that, I have something simple like gratitude, cultivate blessings. When you read that and put it on, and then somebody else that you pass by who may be feeling a little weird, and then they look at gratitude, cultivate blessings. It made their day. Something very simple.
It's so
be very, very surprised. It's contagious. So the campaign is
to all your neighbors. If you think of 7 people, you're like, wait a minute, I'm gonna go with my 7 neighbors, and I'm gonna all
Yeah. So Johnny, next time when you get interviewed, whether it's with us or anywhere else, wear one of your shirts with one of the quotes
You're
on it.
right. I should have done that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I should have
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Hey, see?
Yeah, and then you can tell them, yeah, this is a shirt. You can get it. You can go to my store.
That's right. That's right. It's true. So true. I'm glad
So
that we just. I'm in the process of rolling it out right now within the next couple of days. That campaign, like I say again, it's titled "Words Have Power," and it's all about inspiring people during this time of resiliency and finding the joy. It starts with us first, and then it goes out. And the idea of this is again is actually I'm trying to get it out there. My goal is to sell 10,000 merchandise, t-shirts, or whatever you want to call it, within the next 90 days. And all the proceeds from that is going to go to From My Mama's Kitchen platform.
oh,
And
that's good.
that
Yes.
would bring it, that way we can bring it to the national level in America as well as globally, making people look at, there is an opportunity right here to regroup,
Amen. And it's
refocus,
needed.
build a better world.
Yep.
There's a
So
need for
so we're actually coming down towards the end here. Uh, so
I
Johnny,
just have one more thing, Bob, to add
oh,
real quick.
go ahead.
I just want to know, how can we be of help to you, Johnny, on this wonderful mission and journey that you are embarking coming up soon? You said in 2 days you will be launching officially, and your goal, and the reason I'm repeating, because I was hearing echo when you were speaking, I want to make sure that this message is clear for those who need it and can be enjoying it.
Yes, yes, yes.
That the whole idea is that when they're able to order it, and then
Mhm.
also that the proceeds are going to go to fund From My Mama's Kitchen, so it helps its platform to go national and global. What a
That's
nice
correct.
community. I mean, imagine today if every single one, I'm not joking, think about this for 1 second. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. Bob, you have 5,000. I'm just giving an example.
Okay, guys, you two just buy 5,000 each. I'm happy.
I'm just saying,
Just kidding.
imagine if every one person, see, one person doing one thing, making a big difference, is a lot easier than one person doing most of the things for
Yes,
another one person.
right.
If we collectively start thinking together that when we come upon new projects or endeavors that are going to be holistic in its foundation of servicing, of now that we have all these increased mental illnesses going on and health because of the anxiety, the stress. And when you have individuals who are able to contribute for our societies to eliminate such things in a natural way, but from a core level, and helping them, as Johnny teaches, with their genius zone to connect, to bring out their best and best in others, now we are all going to be winning. And when we take this competition and jealousy and, that person's going to be ahead of me or better than me, or people are going to go their way and I'm not going to be able to have my business. No, everybody has their own talent. Everybody has their own gift. Everybody has their unique delivery. And their role is different. If collectively we support each individual role genuinely, then everybody is going to have a bigger chance, with more majority actually winning than not. And we all together can really rise higher, faster. So if this 10 years is what to be expected, on some countries 5 years, like you mentioned, if everyone was able to contribute into such action, this might be only 2.5 years instead of 5. And you might think like, well, that's still a long time. But you know what's really long is we've been on this talk show for an hour already, and you didn't feel that it was already an hour, and time goes just so fast. And before you know it, it's already 2.5 years instead of 5. And that extra 2.5 years that you're building your own business, you are owning something for yourself. But because you took that one step and one act of kindness, you're going to receive that back tenfold in many different ways. And you will remember, because you know what? When it was tough, when it was challenging, when people were losing homes and cars and businesses and not knowing what to do with their life and take care of their families, I contributed for maybe $20 or 50. And then the other person says, well, I did another 20 or 50. But all these are going to make the 10,000 much faster and good for someone who's trying and openly as saying, you know, this is something that collaboration is called upon collectively. And if we all answer that call, we may all be winners. And you will be surprised when it comes to your turn who shows up, because it pays off to do things with love when they are intended with a labor of love. And when you are passing such vibration, imagine walking around on the streets, everywhere, different places, and being reminded of good words because somebody's wearing a positive affirmation that maybe 5 or 10 people needed to be reminded of, because all they're watching is the news or the problems and not finding solutions from within, and raise their vibration, which will allow them to think on a higher level. And higher thinking brings forth better quality responses and actions for better solutions. So I just wanted to add that, Johnny, because I really
Yeah,
feel it's very important. And, how can we help you, Johnny?
yeah.
Just
So
stop there. What you just did.
let me add. I
Yeah.
know that there's a lot of people that are watching or listening, and
Hmm.
and and there's a lot of individuals that they want their star to shine out there, and
Hmm.
and and that's fine. But the
Hmm.
thing is, if you're out there, you're a single star in the darkness, nobody's going to find you.
That's correct.
But if you can support other people, like helping Johnny support him, and and you start having all these other stars. Now, you may not be shining individually, but you're surrounded by all these stars because you're supporting them. Guess
Hmm.
what's going to happen? You're going to be found as well. You're going to have a constellation around you. It's going to be so bright. So I'm going to suggest everybody get out there and help support Johnny's mission and everything. And when you do that, you're also supporting yourself.
It's true, guys. Thank you so much for the endorsements and so forth. Because in the end, my goal has always been it's not about me. It's honoring my 9 moms. And then as this goes on, it's about honoring everybody out there. People are going through some pain right now, and by having these wonderful quotes, inspirational quotes that they are wearing, it empowers them. It raises their vibration, and the people that are around them sees that it raises their vibration. And ultimately, from my mama's kitchen concept, is about leaving a legacy of love. Somebody else can pick up the baton, because there will always, for us to go on in life, there'll always be a mother down the road. There'll always be moms out there. And the beauty of it, I'm right now, my focus actually, interestingly enough, I'm focusing on the millennials, because they are the ones that needed the most help. Because what happened is, I was a millennial at one time. I came here when I was 18. My dad died at 19. At 21, I started working, if that makes sense, you see? And so I can talk. I mean, we're all were there one time. We didn't just born to be, in our 40s or 50s or 60s or whatever. We tend to forget that. And so we can show them the path, the roadmap to success.
Mm-hmm. I really feel that what you're teaching, and if that is your focus, that is amazing. But I really believe that those shirts and quotes can really help a lot of other people.
Oh no, it helps everyone. Don't get me wrong. But my focus in terms of the life coaching and
I think
mentoring,
the
I'm just
moms and
saying.
the dads need to be reminded so they can teach better and wear the example for
No, it's very, very true. It's no, this the quotes inspires everyone. It's gender neutral. It's about us human being working collectively. And I encourage everyone to go to www.joyfulliving360 forward joyfulliving360.com / store and view the beautiful items that we have. Our inspirational signs, actually, right now, that are sold and fulfilled by Amazon, the smaller signs are 50% off,
nice.
and the larger signs, they're going quick, by the way, actually. And the larger signs, you can buy them at $15 off. And so,
And they're really
because my goal is, like I say again,
Johnny,
is
won't you
to
put it for
get it
us
out there.
in the comments so it'd be easy for the people, like where they can go directly to the links, whether it's the Amazon or the website links, put them in the comments so that it will be faster for people also to go ahead
Sure.
and
Yeah.
Well,
And okay. By the way, I believe I have it in the description.
oh,
oh,
you
okay,
do
good, good.
good, Bob. Thank
Yep.
you. Yes.
Good, good. Thank you very much. Yeah, just go to, because a lot of people, they need to see it on someone. The reason why I want them to go to the joyfulliving360.com / store is because that's where you can see people wearing, we the people wearing the t-shirts, the hoodies, the whatever we have, the leggings and all that, so that they can relate to that, versus you going directly to the store and like it's just a piece of cloth with words on it. Makes a big difference, and you resonate better with that.
Awesome. That is perfect. I'm so happy that we are witnessing this transition and growth, and you're also on your way writing another book, and there's so many great things that are happening that you are actually doing during this quarantine time, and it's inspiring because I have witnessed a lot of my circle that are literally have been more productive than I've ever seen them, like faster. It's almost like light workers of the world are taking action and they don't want to delay because they're
Mhm.
called upon service. And those
Mhm.
who know how to do it need to teach the others so they also know how to do it. And then the others can help more. And that's how we really all evolve to a good place and also all do better together. So, congratulations, Johnny, in advance on this beautiful mission and journey.
Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to share my story and my mission and vision for the coming years for From My Mama's Kitchen platform. Again, like I said, it is not about me. It's about the people out there, helping them to understand and how they can overcome things with the power of resiliency by using the power of words, because words have power.
Amen.
Fantastic. Yes, fantastic. And again, from my end, and Sophie, thank you very much for coming
Yes,
here
yes, yes.
to inspire, to help raise the awareness, especially what's going on, and to help people to move forward out of their despair and much more. But we really want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Y'all very, very kind.
And we'll have to get you back again, obviously, because every 2 quarters, Johnny's up to something. So we'll keep you guys posted. And I know that he has an amazing podcast from My Mama's Kitchen that has thousands and millions of viewers, and it's really doing great all around. And let me tell you that it has amazing guests, spectacular, like very, very defined elite, picked, selected, because I hear some of those shows, and let me tell you, they are New York bestseller authors and more than that who have really experienced true overcoming things, and they talk about details, but in very diversified manner. Like going to Chicken Soup of the Soul, and then the pets one. I was like, wow, this is really cool, like different than what we are accustomed to. So
Right.
even that, I think that is a great podcast to subscribe for those who are watching and like to learn more about Johnny's adventures and ventures as well, other than the website. And of course, I'm sure you are on LinkedIn and Twitter and also
Yes.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, should they be like scared to reach out, or is it okay if they can reach out for you on Messenger?
They can reach out to me anytime. Go to the website www.joyfulliving360.com. You'll find out everything about me, the services that I offered, my radio show. My radio show has over a million, has amassed over a million listeners. Uh, my guests are, some of the top New York Times best-selling authors. Chicken Soup for the Soul launches their new book every time when it comes out on my radio show. I'm actually booked like 2.5, 3 months ahead of time. And so, having said that, like I say, it's been a true wonder. Like I said, if you were to ask me or tell me, Johnny, this is your folder, okay? So as you get older, you're going to be doing this. And I say, yeah, you're right. Ain't going to happen. But, my mom has a plan. I had a plan. And then divine order has a plan.
Yes,
And guess
yes.
what? That's the life's rhythm that we are all flowing into. And then when I look back, these are my innate abilities, and all I'm doing is just sharing it with the world. And thank you guys for giving me the platform, the opportunity to do.
You're welcome.
You are very welcome, and we are very honored and very happy and very joyous, according to the harmony of your website, which I really like it. The name of it is very happy already, right?
Yes,
They enter with
yes,
an open spirit just reading the name. And I think it's always intentional. I know because I know you, Johnny. I know that you really work a lot with intention and purpose in your walk of life and your mentoring, and you're very authentic and genuine. And that's what makes you really a true luminary. And we are so happy to have your time shared with us. And we're looking forward for more down the road. So keep
We
us
are.
posted.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. It's been a true pleasure. True pleasure.
Yes. Thank you. And thank everybody for tuning in.
Yes. Thank
Well,
you, everyone.
bye, everybody.
Blessings. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.